is the moment UFC fans have been waiting for.
Before we jump into today's video, guys, I've got something very special to talk about. EA Sports UFC 5 is dropping its biggest content update since launch. Now, I know the community has been asking for more fighters, and guess what? EA have listened. From April 4th, UFC 5 is dropping 9 new fighters for you. That's going live ahead of UFC 300, and on the roster, you're going to get to play with Movsar Evloev, Brendan Allen, he's been on a big win streak, Marino Rodriguez, we need more fighters in that division, Muhammad Makayev is going to be a lot of fun to play with, Sergey Spivak to give you some more heavyweight options, Jeff Neal, who's been highly requested by the community, Umar Nurmagomedov, who has a really cool skill set, Tracy Cortez, and Diego Lopez, who is fighting at UFC 300 against Sadiq Youssef. Additionally, this massive new content update is going to span until June 5th, with the UFC and EA adding over 30 new fighters to the game. 30 new fighters being added to UFC 5 in the space of just 3 months. And with this significant amount of new UFC ranked fighters in the game, it will reach 98% parity with the current top 10 UFC ranked athletes. That makes this the most substantial post-launch roster update in EA Sports UFC gaming history. That is a W in my eyes right there. Speaking of W's, this update comes at no additional purchase cost to yourselves. It's completely free. All you have to do is click the link in the description, download the update, and play as the new fighters.
One of the main things I think that we get on this channel is there's a lot of fence sitters over here. So today, we're obviously, I'm desperate to force you into some actual fucking choices.
You can't force me into anything. That's against...
Into a corner.
Here's the thing. I think we get a lot of fucking shit on this channel for being like biased fucking cucks or
Not
whatever.
me, mate.
You know, and here
Personally, I think Ian Gary or Tom Aspinall should be on this card.
Say,
And I'm
did you just say
angry they're not.
biased fucking cucks?
Yeah, we
Okay.
do, yeah. Now, what we're doing come UFC 300 is we're doing an entire fight companion of all of these fucking fights. And I want to sit
To
down.
prove we're not
Allegedly.
casual.
Yeah, I want
Allegedly.
But I want to do what I want to do is I want to go into every single one of those motherfucking fights with something on the fucking line.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
That's fun.
Well, first up then, something that could be a main event this weekend and probably should have been a main event. Figueiredo and your boy Cody Garbrandt.
Well, these two are supposed to fight at UFC 255. Fun fact for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bit of fun there.
Really fun.
Well, the thing about this fight is, Tom, let me break it down for you. I don't know. I feel like, right.
I just like the martial
It's
arts.
Figgy, it's Cody, right? Cody has the ability to win this fight. I also think the size will matter in this one, especially when operating at range. But I'm going to pick, I love Cody.
Why?
Can I
Because
say
he's the best fighter on UFC 5.
Can I say that he's not? Is the list I'm doing currently, right? You've ranked all the UFC title challengers.
Undefeated, yeah.
Yeah, undefeated title challengers. Cody's like number 18 or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's low.
In that, yeah, it's low, but in that one, everyone's like 30 seconds, but it's just him for a minute and a bit gushing over Cody Garbrandt just because he's like, when he did it to Kotei Mizugaki, and it's just like all these little details.
feel like it's
Because he
not
just
that-
loves,
it's not
if he
that
doesn't
long.
pick Garbrandt,
It's not that
he's a
long.
liar.
I'm picking Davison Figueiredo. If Figgy can navigate Rob Font and that jab, I believe he can probably beat Cody.
Yeah,
in terms
and
of
to
star
be
matchup.
fair to Davison, Cody has been given very favourable treatment recently. I think a fan picked his last fight against Brian Kelleher. I don't know if this is legit, but I've seen that go around. And I think whoever won this competition picked Cody Garbrandt's.
Did you dream this?
No,
you just make this up just now?
This could be complete bullshit and like a bit of a troll like joke comment, but I've seen it on Twitter.
I reckon
going
they
around,
linked
so.
it to you so you'd bring it up on this podcast.
I am a
I'd be
casual,
surprised
so-
if that was the
Yeah.
case.
Cody Garbrandt, when he came back after his last losses and stuff, and he fought Trevin
I don't know if
Jones.
he sport Trevor Jones.
He fought some guy, and even Alex was saying at the time was on a fight companion or doing a fight companion, and he said this guy looks like he's been paid to lose. Like it was.
I
like,
didn't say that.
I'm outing you. He did. He said it. But Cody has some very favorable opponents, and Davison Figueiredo is still like championship level.
Yeah.
He's just in a new weight
And
class.
also, let's not forget, if you did an X-ray scan of Cody Garbrandt's head, it's probably just cracked and crumbled
Dust.
in there. Yeah. So I'd say Figueiredo as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I think Figueiredo is gonna do it. I really want Cody. Like, it's kind of like you remember like Tito Ortiz like 10 years ago when he beat Ryan Bader, and people were like, "Yeah, he's gonna come back," even though we hated him for all the fights up until this point, and then he loses and everyone hates him again. You know, it's like Cody. I kind of want to see him come back. You know. But I feel like Davison will get the win. Conventionally, I feel like he should win it.
This fight and all the fights, Tom, 50-50, all of them.
all of them
All
50-50.
50-50.
Wait, so were you all going for Figueiredo?
Yeah.
Does anyone want to go for Cody?
No.
All right then.
All right. Screw it. I'll be the one to take a shot if he
Yeah,
loses.
I think-
I'll go for funsies. I'll go with my heart instead of my head. I'll go for Cody.
So
I think
you
Cody's gonna
fucking love
fight-
him so much.
I think
Why are you
he's
picking him.
I think Cody's going to fight too safe. I don't know if he'll get knocked out. He might get knocked out, but I think he's going to. I don't think Cody's going to brawl. I think he's going to fight safe. If he gets knocked out, probably while he's fighting safe.
Moving on, I feel like we all know who we're going to pick in Bobby Green versus Jim Miller.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying because we all
Who we want to
Miller
pick.
to come home with the tricep. Did he win all of his fights?
I don't know if you want them more.
I think this fight was scheduled 3 times and is finally happening. Great fight. Both guys still look great for their age. It's kind of a really, again, 50-50 this one, isn't it? I'm going to go with Jim because I think Jim's got more tools and I think he will try and grapple Bobby, and that might be the difference in this fight.
Have you seen Jim do a lot of grappling recently?
Jim is a killer from Sparta, all right?
It's a very cool story, but I'm seeing Bobby Green get a dodgy knockout like he does always. Like off his elbow, off his head, off something's going to happen.
He's going to nut him, is he?
Well, he's done that a few times. The way Bobby's unorthodox and weird and he jumps into things, sometimes he catches people in the wrong way. Yeah. But yeah, I think Jim's won by just being there. But I think Bobby Green will win the fight.
You don't get trophies for taking part, Luke. Not in this fucking sport,
but have you fought a 1, 2, and 300?
I'm probably gonna pick Bobby myself. I feel like that Jalen Turner fight, he's also on the card. I don't know how much that's affected him, but I feel like he's, a little bit more with it at this stage, barring unless something's totally changed him from the Jalen Turner fight. But yeah, I've got him. I love Jim Miller. I think he's great. But I got Bobby.
Bobby's been fighting the higher level competition recently.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like they've been really fucking safe with old Jim Miller for the past 5 fights.
Really?
Yeah, he's just fought a bunch of light guys.
Has he?
Yeah, just a bunch of light guys.
Can we have a look?
Gabriel Benitez, Jesse Butler.
Hold up.
Yeah, to be fair, you might be.
Nicholas Mota, Eric Gonzalez. I mean, a dusted Cerrone.
I mean, Benitez isn't terrible.
Hernandez is the only guy. Well, he's
by decision too,
Yeah,
so
right,
it's
Tom,
still.
you know what? Even he beat Eric Gonzalez, the ghost pepper.
It got to 2021, October 16th against Eric Gonzalez, and they were like, "Let's just fucking get this guy."
I will
to 300.
say, let's
just get him there.
I can't believe he's what, 5 out of his last 6. I mean, even against whoever, that's
Guys,
still.
Who the fuck is Jesse Butler?
we've all learned we can't go off record.
Who's
okay?
Jesse Butler?
I don't know who Jesse Butler.
Yeah, we can't go off
Can't
record.
go off
It's
record.
He
disrespectful
said
to go off record.
it was just going off what
no, I'm
you
just
said,
saying,
and you're right.
all
I
right.
agree.
So we've got Bobby,
I'm picking Jimothy.
and you're going.
I'll go Bobby as well. Okay, Andrade Rodriguez is the next fight up. The first Whammons fight on.
Whammons.
Rodriguez. I'm going for Emrod. I think she's got the range. She's going to be. I think she's going to be more aggressive than Andrade. I sadly think Andrade is potentially on her way out at this stage.
What makes you think that?
She doesn't really pull the trigger the way she used to. I think.
I don't know. The last couple of fights, she goes nuts and gasses out.
No. So she had lost 3, and now she beat Mackenzie Dern.
Battered Mackenzie Dern,
and that was a
didn't
good
she?
fight, actually. But
To be, look who she's fought in her last 4, though.
yeah, well, former champion. That's who you get.
Calvillo, Lemos, and Murphy are all very different
You
to
can't-
Blanchard, Jean and Suarez.
You can't eat the cake, don't cook in the kitchen. You know.
Just because it's a woman's fight.
Oh, for God's sake,
You
Tom.
fucking
You
sexist.
fucking- Go on, who are you picking?
Emerald.
All right.
I'll go with that Emerald. I like the nickname. Purely based off that. No, I think she's the bigger, longer, more powerful, and more diverse fighter than Andrade, who's just got running at you with hooks.
Turner Moicano.
Fantastic fight, this, isn't it?
Could
One
be.
of the most consequential fights on the card, I feel
You
like.
keep saying that. You've said that multiple times. You said there's a reason why this fight is above the rest of those at that point because there's more at stake there
Oh, I
in
did
terms
say
of the
that.
lightweight division.
I did say that, yeah. Well, I mean, Figgy could move up, but
I feel like they're doing that. So it's the curtain jerker. They want people to tune in. Davison and Garbrandt are going to get people watching from the get-go, the first fight.
smart. Wow, you should be a promoter, dude.
This
That's pretty good.
I know, it feels like order your pizza fight.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, this is like where you're doing.
What?
No, I like this.
Jalen Turner
this
versus
range.
Moicano.
Moicano is one of the most savage
Moicano
men on the
wants
roster.
money, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, but
can't
Moicano
even-
also doesn't always show up.
You could get in the cage with a knife, a rocket launcher, a sledgehammer, and a baseball bat, and you couldn't kill Renato Moicano.
No, I'm sure I couldn't, but I don't say I
Rocket
can.
launcher might do it.
No, he'd move out of the way.
You know what Moicano has the post-fight speech, yeah, but his last fight was a bit snoozy.
Right. I'm walking out this podcast. Like,
How is this the most consequential fight?
Because both guys are like could move up the lightweight division because they're both doing really well.
They're not though, because they're battling around the 10 to 15 area.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the prelims. The most controversial fight on the prelims.
I mean, if you were to look
No,
at
I
this
haven't.
card and you would look at all these fights, you could. It is a bit of a piss break, isn't it? Actually, it is like I'm
It's
knackered
not-
by that point. I'm already knackered
You
by
guys
that
are
point. I'm like-
fucking nuts.
You
This
are
is
nuts. I'm with Jason.
Moicano and Jalen Turner is a barn
It's an
burner. of a
incredible
fucking
fight.
Jalen Turner, did you see what he did to Bobby Green?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Jalen Turner walks forward
Bobby's a bit
non-stop.
old though, isn't he? So
It doesn't matter. Jalen Turner is going to march Moicano down and bring the offense. I think Moicano is either going to survive and drag him to the mat, or he's going to get taken out.
I'm gonna
feel
have an
like-
earthy beer piss at that point.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a shit fight on paper on this entire
No,
card. I
no.
think every single one of these, you're gonna hold that bladder. You're gonna have lifelong bladder issues as a result of this card.
No, I can see Jalen Turner having a lot of success against Moicano. Moicano getting beaten up badly, but having the cardio to last the whole time.
You gotta have a Dan Hooker like chin to get through a Jalen Turner
Yeah,
fight.
for me, it's not a fight I'm massively interested in, but it'll be a good fight.
It's a 50-50 fight, but I'm just going to go with Money Moicano because he's cool. And he came in my Twitch channel and said hi.
Came in it.
He came all over it.
Oh,
Sadiq Youssef versus Diego Lopez. Let's start with you, Luke, for a change.
I believe in the power of the emo cut. And that's my pick. Diego Lopez has looked super good since coming. I know he lost his first fight, but it was against a very high-ranked guy.
Yeah, we didn't ask for
Are
a
you still
career
talking about
recap,
his
mate.
hair?
No, but recently he had an excellent performance. Where's the guy?
You don't need to explain your pick.
You've got to say something, Mr. Well, they were scheduled 3 times, and actually it was 2 times.
Yeah, why are you coming? Why are you got all these
Yeah, why are you
facts?
coming at me?
Sorry, people like facts.
No, but why you got them?
At the end of the day, no fight.
I'm a well-researched man.
I think Sadiq Youssef come out, looked really strong against Barbosa in his first round, but then kind of gassed a little and got himself in trouble. And he's never picked up steam like he once did. He's kind of a bit inactive. I think Diego Lopez is just coming in every fight, just fucking slinging meat. Yeah. So
I'm picking Diego. I think Sadiq is going to be a little too slow to react in there. And Diego's going to be a bit faster on the trigger.
I got Diego Lopez as well. I mean, we actually, it was one of our old fight companions where it was Sadiq Youssef versus Arnold Allen. And ever since then, Sadiq has not really picked back up to where he is. And this is MMA. That could change at any moment.
He was undefeated, I think.
I feel like they put Lopez here as well to see if he can really create something of himself and have a really good test, but really do something really awesome that is going to stand out amongst this star-studded fucking prelims, you know?
Sadiq is super fucking scary too.
Yeah.
If he lands one shot on you, you're out. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but he
That's all it takes.
probably won't.
Yeah.
Should I move
Oh,
on?
Holly Holm, I remember her from years ago.
She,
She beat that Ronda Rousey girl.
Head kicked her,
head
right?
kicked her, yeah.
That's what a lot of people are probably
Dude, that
saying.
was 9 years ago.
That's what
That's fucked up,
a lot of people are
That's
probably
crazy.
saying. Yeah.
I think more importantly that, because we've seen a lot of home, and we're still talking about that time, but Kayla Harrison, new to the UFC, new to 35.
I'm picking Holly.
How's that going?
I'm picking Holly all day.
I think there's just so many question marks about Kayla that we just... Has she been fighting
What
much
did you think about the
lesser
Aspen
competition?
Lad fight?
I didn't even...
Did you watch the
It's
Aspen
so
Lad
funny
fight?
no one watches Kayla Harrison.
I didn't even watch it.
Well, I'm just saying it wasn't as dominant as you probably would have liked from Kayla as well. It's like Aspen Lad's sort of like that middle of the road, even like middle of the road prospect that never really got to the point where a lot of people thought she might, and then she jumps over to PFL, and Kayla doesn't like immediately dominate someone like that at the natural weight class as well, and now she's dropping to 135, cutting all that
I
muscle.
feel like Holly beat a better version of Kayla 9 years ago in Ronda Rousey, you know?
Ooh, even though Kayla's got the better credentials.
You think that better?
Well, it's kind of hard to argue how good Ronda was at
But
the
do,
time.
but do you think at the time
I don't know about
she
that.
had
It's
lesser
easy
competition?
to argue.
Yes, of course she had less
So then
competition.
would that doesn't really make her better because it doesn't translate that
Well,
way.
who do you think has a better chance of judo throwing Holly, like in retrospective, Ronda or Kayla?
I mean,
'Cause I would have said I would have picked Ronda to have a better chance of taking her down.
well, Kayla is actually like, a
but-
155er.
like,
she's
yeah, but
much bigger
she's-
than, and she placed
And she's an
higher.
Olympic gold medal.
And
Yeah,
she's
like-
cutting all that weight though. So I don't
Well,
think
then that's the intangible. So like we don't know
And against
what
Aspen
her
Ladd-
weight cut is truly going to look like until we see it. You know, it's like all the science you can look at, but we don't really know until it actually happens.
I think you have to pick Holly just for the safety. There's too many questions. Yeah, because we don't know Kayla's level. It feels like we have a grasp on the UFC's level.
I would just say that Holly Holm could have an absolute fucking shitter as well, though.
Okay, so what does that mean? What did Holly do to make it a shitter? Because if like if you're going to say
she's not going to clinch her, that's what she did against.
and if it stays on the feet
yeah.
and it's a shitter, well, I pick Holly because she's probably going to win the striking exchanges. So the only way Kayla wins is by taking her down.
Yeah.
If you have a shitter Holly Holm performance, she probably wins because she just made it really boring.
Yeah, but she just
and
sort of
the thing
like
is, but we-
cruises.
so she wins.
And Kayla has the more dominant moments in the round that you go, oh, that's a big takedown, or that's a big right
So the
hand.
takedown.
If Kayla Harrison shows up anything like what we've seen of her in PFL, I would say that she wins. The intangible is the weight cut. For as of right now, I'm just going to assume that she's going to show up relatively fine. 9 years ago is when Holly Holm won. She's so far out of her prime now. And we've seen that in the last couple of years. I mean, it's actually been slightly depressing watching Holly Holm's career lately. So I'm going with Kayla Harrison. So I'm going with
Cater Sterling.
Some people don't like this fight. They say it's pointless.
Why?
Who said that?
I think it's actually good. Because they're like, they feels like it's rushed
say
and they
that?
just threw Aljo back
Did
in
you
there.
just say
Who
that?
said that's
and then
pointless?
you just said
Pete,
people.
I've seen people on Reddit
So
on various
what
forums.
people are
On
all
Reddit.
gushing over Turner and Moicano, are they?
No, but Turner and Moicano, it makes more sense as it's two divisional challengers, whereas this, you've got a former champion who sold pay-per-views and you're kind of, they say they're just giving him an opponent. It doesn't feel like there's a narrative reason to set this fight up.
Well,
you know?
I think there's a kind of an understanding or a skepticism of Aljo as a champion that people didn't like him, and he's getting a maybe potentially lower than expected opponent at featherweight, which is always teased about moving up. Dana clearly dislikes him and Marab, and it's kind of like you got knocked out by the Golden Boy, and you said, "Oh, I could never beat Volk," in your post-fight speech. So he's getting someone still in contendership.
I think it's
Still middle of the table.
I think it's a good fight. I don't have a problem with it.
I know. I think it's a great fight, and I think it's a good style matchup as well.
Who are you picking?
Sorry, me.
Oh, it's.
You looked at
it's-
me. I
they
didn't say
are-
anything.
What do you think, Tom?
They are two. They are two very, very different fighters, and everyone talks about how Aljo's a big guy, but we all know his striking is not the best. It's his control that he's best at. I don't know, because Calvin's coming off a big leg injury where his leg just fell apart after he threw a flying knee. So yeah, it just depends how these guys have what they've done coming back. But I would.
But we've
have
done
to
exactly the same thing they
say-
always do.
Probably trained really hard. Yeah, just
same
ground
style.
their body down even more.
It's tough because I don't think Calvin's ever fought a wrestler. Can you think of a single person who tried to take Calvin down?
Magomed Sharapov. Boom.
Ages ago, right? A long
was
time
ages
ago.
ago.
I don't remember
It
how
was
that
a close
fight
fight
went.
as well.
I feel like
yeah.
it's hard to predict because we've never seen Calvin like get attacked by a
So
grappler.
Magomed's not really a grappler.
So I'll take Calvin. I think he's got a really good team up there. I think he keeps
him on the feet.
keeps
Keeps
the
him on the
range. Aljo is going to find it hard to initiate takedowns because he doesn't have the reach advantage anymore. I'm probably going to be wary of the striking, especially the uppercuts. So I think Calvin just boxes him. And
in terms of Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling, I'm going to lean towards Aljo. I give him a lot of respect for what he did as champion. He held on to the belt for a long time, and he got hit by a champion who's actually proving his worth quite well in Sean O'Malley. Calvin Kattar's number 8. I think it's a perfectly fine matchup. He's literally going to be inside the top 10 and really close to the top 5 if he wins. So I think it's a pretty solid matchup and a really good test. All those things that you brought up are very valid, but I've got Aljo.
Right, lads, moving on to the main event of the prelims. This is a big return for Rakic against Prohaska. It's just fucking hard fucking return for Rakic to come against the fucking former champion, Prohaska. Obviously, he's had, a disappointing last fight, getting knocked out by the big stone man himself, Pereira. But actually, really fascinating fight. A lot of people think this should have been on the main card.
I think it's make or break for both guys.
Make
Make or break for both guys is how I see it, right? Because like if Yuri loses again, that
It's a good point.
really doesn't
Yeah,
look good. If
I don't think
Rakic
it's-
loses, it's probably
I
not.
don't think it's a massive issue if Rakic loses, though.
No, it's not massive. It's just like they're both going to be set back quite significantly, aren't they? But either way, It's really hard to predict this, isn't it? Because you've got a very technical striker versus a wild and crazy striker. I feel like the only thing to question of Yuri is if he's like body and style has physically compromised him over the years to the point where he can't execute at the level he used to be able to. I'm not saying I'm just saying that is the only question for me. Like the answer probably is he's fine. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to question Yuri, are you going to question his fight style against Rakic?
Why would you go directly for like a conjecture based?
Because I'm like, if I look at the style of Yuri against Rakic, it's like, well, there's nothing wrong in his style that matches up against him. The only thing I would doubt is his physical capabilities based on all of his career so far. Like, does he still move the same speed? Is he hesitating? Is he injured? Can he still level change like he used to? Does he throw the same amount of feints?
You could say the exact same thing about Rakic as well.
Yeah,
coming off
you
an
could do,
injury.
but Rakic is like, I'm just thinking, why would I doubt Yuri before I look at Rakic? For Rakic, it's more like he would be a bit too static, I feel like, and get caught up the middle with something because he's a lot more traditional and planted. So for me with Yuri, is if he's physically there, yes, then I pick Yuri.
I feel like Yuri's happy to get knocked out if he thinks he can knock you out first. Like, with his style that he doesn't defend himself, he's all head movement and he's very linear, but he's very in and out all the time. So he jumps into things like he did with Pereira. But he's only been knocked out cold once before that, way back in
I'm picking Yuri.
in Ryzen.
It was like 2015 or something.
I mean, yeah, it's big. I thought that his last fight was stopped a little bit early, even though he took lots of unanswered shots. Because like the Teixeira fight, he got rocked a bunch and came back and won. So, but different fight now. Rakic, I would be more concerned over, just to be a little bit rusty.
Yeah, I'm my heart says Yuri because I like Yuri. He's just this crazy wild man, very entertaining. I love every single fight he's been in. Even when he loses, it's very entertaining. Rakic, I do think he's going to punish him. I think, maybe that same kick that he landed on Jimmy Manuwa a couple of years ago might be...
That was ages ago, wasn't it?
It was ages ago, but that's the kind of like long, like reach he has. Obviously, Yuri's really long as well. I mean, his arms are ridiculous, but I don't know. I'm just going to go for Rakic. I've got a hunch that he's going to punish him with a bit of that technicality, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Would you say it's 50-50, Jason?
I mean, it probably is
50-50
legitimately on this one, yeah.
The people's main event, Bo Nickel.
Yeah, just get it up
I'm
there.
going to pick Bo Nickel.
Bo Nickel.
By takedown.
By knee in the balls and take down. No, I just don't think you pick against Bo Nickel in this one.
I got Bo Nickel in this one. I do disagree with the placement on the main event, but it could turn into one of those things. I don't think he's going to be like a McGregor level star, but in Boston when they had him walking out for the Max Holloway fight, they treated it like a main event and had him walk out. It could turn into one of those moments, and I think the UFC is like really banking on
It's
that.
really awkward actually for Bo because like all the fucking pressure is on him really. I mean, Cody's probably pretty happy to just sit back and let Bo do all the fucking work here. So if he doesn't come out and has an absolute dynamite performance,
It's expected of him.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's dangerous as well.
He's
though,
been thrust
because
into this limelight.
when it's expected of you on the biggest stage of all, UFC 300, it can be really, really dangerous.
I feel like Bo hasn't shown any problems.
No, I'm not saying
so
that. I'm not saying that he's going to fucking lose. There's a chance of him losing because obviously he's going to win, and obviously I'm picking him. I'm just saying it's all the pressures on Bo really to give us something good.
There is a bit of like an Aaron Pico aspect to it.
Exactly.
He was like the golden child for Bellator. They put him on like their only second ever pay-per-view, and he loses to some guy. So no, there's a lot of pressure on him for good reason. He is definitely supposed to win this. I would have swapped this with Yuri and Rakic, but I'm definitely going to go Bo.
All right, Sarukian versus Oliveira.
Crazy tough fight to predict this one, isn't it? You've got like top game versus bottom game in the grappling, really. And then you've got Muay Thai versus whatever the fuck Arman does, which is kind of just like
everything.
A bit of everything,
It's like
really.
wrestling
bit
with
of
scrapping.
kickboxing in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the champion who has a name, and his name is Charles Oliveira.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know, man. This is again super close to fight. Super close to pick.
Are you right,
50, no.
Sucralose?
It's 50-50 again. Shit, man. Do I doubt the age of Oliveira, or do I believe in the ascendance of
That's the
Arman
thing.
Sarukian?
If you doubt Oliveira, you're a fucking shitbag. So
Do not go on Twitter after this video.
Awful
Do you know
person.
what?
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to pick Arman Sarukian because I think
So
he
unlikable.
won't be scared of the ground game.
You've
And
lost
I
a bunch
think
of fans there.
Arman will...
Could you not steal my talking points?
I think
after
Arman is going to...
You teed me up perfect.
I think Arman is going to take Oliveira down. He won't be afraid, and I think he'll neutralize him on the ground.
Charles Oliveira is hittable. He's been dropped pretty much by everyone he's
Oh,
fought.
what? You get the caller and coach him, Luke?
Arman Sarukian. You just say things. You say things loud, so
don't-
other people go, when really your joke is just
Hey,
not
our
there.
laughs were genuine, you
Make
son
a
of a
joke,
bitch.
bro. Calm down.
What does it mean?
What the fuck? You're over here insulting
Let
one of
me
the
talk,
insulting
brother.
one of the greatest fighters ever. Okay,
I'm not.
go on then.
I'm saying he gets dropped by everyone. It's a fact. Everyone he fights drops him. Arman is getting better. He's coming to that point and he's young. He's like 26 or something. So, I mean, he's got a lot more time than Olives has. So, yeah, Arman all day, I think.
It's like one of these kind of selfish things. I want to see Arman versus Islam too. I feel like he has the most interesting style matchup. He was making his debut when they first fought. And I mean, how long had Makhachev been in the UFC by that point? I mean, he'd been in for quite a while, and it was a big deal what Arman was doing. And I feel like he's 10 times better than he was back then. It looked phenomenal. I love Charles Oliveira, but selfishly, I think I want to see a new matchup at 155, and I think that's the most intriguing matchup.
And then we've got Max versus Holloway.
Woo!
Max versus Holloway.
I've been waiting for this one.
We've got the BMF fight, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. Obviously, you are
A BMF.
big fucking Max Holloway guy, aren't you?
Oh yeah, you love him. You
Yeah, you
always
really
pick him
do.
in UFC 5.
You can't
I
come
don't.
through
You
the,
do.
the office door without yelling Max Holloway.
You're getting the tattoo, aren't you?
What, Max's wing tattoo?
Yeah.
On my face, though. I guess I'm a Max Holloway fan.
Yeah.
No, I love
That's
when
all
he
you need
knocked
to
out
say.
Zombie. That was cool. I don't think it's fair to pick in this fight.
What do you mean?
What?
It's unfair?
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
it's 50-50. I'll just do that old.
I feel
old
like this
trick.
fight is way less 50-50 than some of the others.
Yeah, Gaethje is a big fucking 155er who loves to have a big fucking knockout, and Max is like a guy who's ready to be knocked out.
Who loves taking damage.
Yeah, yeah,
He loves
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
It is refreshing to hear that you found a different part of MMA predictions that has nothing to do with offense in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
You finally found your way off of it.
I just think Gaethje's obviously hits a lot harder. Gaethje's really developed his striking game. Max hasn't. I don't know. Like, I can't. I don't really want to besmirch either guy, really, because Max is amazing. So Max is going to play hit and run, and Gaethje's going to play hit and run, but with a bigger weapon. Gaethje comes forward, but he draws you onto his shots, and then Max is going to be forced back by the pressure, but also going to want to push it.
But if you can do what he did against Poirier, and then come back to the Poirier Max Holloway fight.
Yeah,
like,
dude. If
it's-
Gaethje beats Poirier for me,
Yeah,
I'm
like a
picking
head
him
kick.
I
over
know,
some
I know, it's
shit.
like MMA math. but,
MMA
like,
math.
Come on.
Justin beat Poirier. Poirier beat Max.
I mean, I do think the only time we've seen Max Holloway go up to 155, it just didn't go that well for him, and his power didn't. I mean, he was never a power guy anyway, but it just, there was a big differential. Even though, of course, he fought Dustin Poirier for the first time at 145, there was just a huge difference in terms of the bulk that Poirier had gone through over the years. I think Justin Gaethje hits harder. I think we've seen that. Obviously, the last fight was a head kick, but I think Justin Gaethje hits harder. I think he'll never get tired either. So, I mean, it's a battle of cardio.
Got a reach advantage as well.
And, I mean, we've seen him finished, but it's been by TKO. So, I mean, we've never seen Justin Gaethje get knocked out either. So, it's a battle of chins. I think power is going to be the differential, just like it was for the Dustin Poirier fight.
All right, lads, moving on to the co-main event. We got the Battle of China. Wei Li versus Yan Xiaonan.
This is actually quite a fun fight. I think it's people don't really know who Yan is. I feel like they haven't really paid much attention, which is
She's
a
been around
shame.
for a long fucking time.
She has
though,
been around,
hasn't
but I
she?
think that's also why people haven't paid attention because, like, they felt like she probably was never going to get to the title, but now she is here. She's done great.
She's
obviously.
a fucking unit, though, isn't she?
She is. I
Jesus.
think it's a great fight. I think Wei Li, if she uses her wrestling, will probably win. So I'm going to pick Wei Li Zhang.
I think Zhang is one of those type of fighters that loves to mix up the game. So
Yeah.
she doesn't need to take her down. She just wants to because, yeah, she enjoys playing the full mixed martial arts game. Yeah, I think she's going to have the power differential. Yan Xiaonan, I was really hyped about for, a couple of years there. But, yeah, I mean, once you start losing to people like Carla Esparza, for me, that hype train goes down. I do think she's still a top-notch fighter, but I think Zhang's just on a different level. While all those other champions has gone, it's like Joanna's gone, Rose is gone. All the big contenders have kind of left the division. She's already beat Andrade. I just see her reigning on the division as long as she wants to.
All right, lads, and then here we are to the main event of the evening, probably the greatest
Fight of all time.
Yeah, the most deserved fight.
Yeah.
At the top of this card. 50-50 fight.
50-50, baby.
I refuse to make a prediction on this.
I mean, to be fair, we've already spoken about this because we know that Hill's got no fucking chance.
No chance.
We've explicitly said he's got no fucking
that's
chance.
not what we said.
He'll get fucking KO'd in the first 5 seconds.
He's got a 30 or 33%
Yeah,
chance
I
of winning.
I will say something we didn't consider that much in our last talk is that he is coming back off a really big injury.
We said
No,
that.
we
We
probably
did say
mentioned it, but I don't think we took it into account.
You over here were like, we don't look at injuries because here's examples of all these fighters who came back off injuries. So you've just argued against yourself.
No, but I'm talking for the comments because a lot of people will be like, oh, I snapped my Achilles and I can't throw a plate or whatever they said. But I'm just saying, from our conversation, the fact that we were 50-50 in this room, me and Alex thought Hill, you two thought Pereira.
We were.
Oh, he
That's
means,
what I'm saying.
he means
He upgraded to 51,
He
so
means
we're
okay,
proud of you.
between
we
us.
were
I'm saying
3
between
out there.
Two for
the
two,
the
two for
MMA
two.
and point camp,
Yeah.
we were half and half.
2 for 2.
Looking at the comments, actually quite even from Hill winning and Pereira winning.
I'm picking Hill to win. I reckon he probably, if he does win, he knocks him out. I could see Alex also knocking him out, but you can make me make a prediction. I'm going to pick Jamal Hill by knockout.
I saw Glover Teixeira fucking smash Hill with a bunch of fucking left hooks. So I'm going to go with Pereira.
I mean, there's a great revenge storyline in this one that we didn't even talk
Yeah.
about in the other video as well, where it's like you saw Alex Pereira after that fight just staring daggers through Jamal Hill. Yeah, of course I've got Jamal losing this one, but I think
Predicting someone's loss. Jamal will lose.
no matter how this fight goes, though, it's going to be a finish. You know, of course, now that I've said that, it's gonna be a snooze fest. But I think it's got fireworks written all over it. No matter who wins, I see it being a finish.
As I mentioned earlier, there is a huge game update coming for UFC 5, and it's a great reason for players to revisit and jump back into the game. And for anyone that hasn't picked up UFC 5 yet, well, there couldn't be a better time. With these community-driven updates, they are delivering over 30 new fighters and quality of life changes all across the next 3 months. Coming up, you're going to see the likes of Michelle Pereira, Benoit Saint Denis, Kayla Harrison, as well as, of course, Michael Venom Page, MVP. And that's just to name a few of all these fighters that are going to get added into the game. You can let us know what you think and which fighter you're most excited for in the comments down below. You can click the link in the description to find out more about the update and dive into UFC 5 today on Next Generation consoles.